speakers not bad, right? This is my analog system's low frequency. Clarity is quite good. The speaker I'm using now is the Denadio LYD5. Active monitors the little speaker. This is Van Cliburn playing Chopin, a Japanese RCA pressing. I can really feel the weight of the piano. I always feel like the difference between digital and analog is pretty much the same, whether it's music or photos. Digital is super advanced now, but analog just has that soul. It feels more human. I'm an analog man. I shoot film and collect vinyl, mostly classic music. This recording is my favorite. I have several versions of Beethoven symphony cycles, auto clampers, Reader's Digest, but I prefer Karajan Berlin Philharmonic cycles. Yeah, Austro-German style, solemnity and grandeur through their mechanical precision. Both his 1960 and the 1970s cycles were captured as analog recordings, with that velvety tone of Berlin Philharmonic. Especially the 1960s version was recorded in Jesus Christ Church in Dahlem, Berlin. So much warmth and space. After 2000, Deutsche Grammophon released SACD of Beethoven symphony cycles, still using the original source of 1960s, including some rehearsal recording of Beethoven's Nines. You can really hear the superb natural acoustics of that church.
So, bitte, jetzt der erste Rhythmus.
Yeah, EMI has Abbey Road, Decca has Kingsway Hall, and many of Deutsche Grammophon's classics were recorded in this church. 1970s box set came with a beautiful booklet. You see, very, very good. And wow, have a very grainy photos. It's a German pressing, no English, I think. Whoa, well, photography. Multiple exposure shoot. 1970s recording. It was captured at Philharmonic in Berlin. After 10 years of advancement in recording technology, but the sound a bit stiff. I like this one. Sviatoslav Richter playing Tchaikovsky's first piano concerto, conducted by Karajan, with the Vienna Philharmonic. When Richter first time came to Vienna, and you see the black and white photos on the jacket, grainy film, so well taken. I bought this record in maybe 2007 in Munich. Just €1, I remember. Stalin was said, this is to let the West witness the power of Red Soviet Russia. He tried to prove the supremacy of Red Soviet culture through a pianist with German roots. Just a rumor. Vinyl with noise, like a film screen, both are physical formats that exist long before digital. I always feel that kind of magical, the stylus friction within the grooves and the generator's vibration then become music, and also film captures light and turn into an image. Magical. They are not supposed to be here, in digital era, but we love them. I grew up in an analog era. In the 90s, when I bought my first Nikon FM2 film camera, the CD, cassette tapes, and vinyl records all exist side by side in the shop. I bought CDs and also vinyl records. My turntable was just a cheaper Pioneer, but I still fell in love with that warm, soft vinyl sound. I remember my friends and we often discussed CDs and music. We all liked to buy a CD with a ADD mark on it. That means analog recording, digital editing, and production, because analog recording retains the tape noise, and somehow it just felt better. But more importantly is the greatest performances we can hear today were recorded in the mid-20th century. By the time digital recording came around in the 80s, most of those legendary musicians were already gone. Their performances remain only in the analog era. Like many great photographers, that was end of an era. I never thought that 30 years later, I'd still be listening to the same old recording. To be honest, very few of new performers are true naturals. I do have some digital recording LPs. This one, Glenn Gould's Bach Goldberg Variations, which I have the CD and the LP. It was digitally recorded by Columbia in 1981. Of course, if it was analog recording, it will be perfect, but his performance is so brilliant, we have no choice. No one, classic music lover, can ignore it. Even make me feel that the Bach's piano music should be played like that way. For me, the hi-fi means this. Being able to have my favorite musicians perform in my room anytime I want. Just close my eyes with a bit imagination. I can feel like I'm there. My playback set is not high-end level, not expensive, so I need a bit imagination. A Technics SL1200 Mark V turntable. Audio-Technica AT33 PTG moving coil cartridge. It's the first PTG, not the later PTG2, but sound is really, really good. a Denon AU300LC MC transformer, project tuba box phono preamp. It's also the first generation. Really hard to find the detail on internet. Too old. Krell KAV300i amplifier, but I only using it a preamp output because my speaker, Denaudio LYD5, is active monitors built-in amplifier. Everything except the speakers is over 20 years old. I like my Denaudio monitors. The sound, the thickness is very close to the real life. Vinyl does something different. Even my setup isn't high-end. Technically, it has a bit distortion, but it can feel more real. Thicker with some noise, the kind that makes you feel like you've traveled back in time, sitting in the room with the subtle dust and the air particles of the original performance. Maybe because our ears are analog too. In Japan, people mostly go for jazz music, maybe 90%. The used classical music records are really cheap. Sometimes you can find 110 yen for each, less than $1. Also cheaper than digital download on Apple Music. Back then, Japanese had so much respect for European performers more than Europeans. Japanese records, you usually get these gorgeous, heavy-duty jackets with original language titles on front and a super detailed notice on the back in Japanese, like here, recorded in that same Jesus Christ Church in Berlin. Also got the Obi strip. SX68 soundmark means CBS used the new West Germany-made Neumann cutting head. Check this one. I have several versions of this recording. My favorite, EMI Beethoven Triple Concerto. The German version cover is plain, just a cheap paper. The French one is okay. It's better. About the French records, I want to say don't buy records in France. The condition really bad. But the Japanese edition, it's on its premium art paper. And those legendary CBS Bruno Water recordings, less than $1 each. I still cannot believe that. Very weird. Horrible. Why using this horrible photo? The complete Beethoven piano sonatas played by Backhouse for 1500 yen, London Decca, full frequency recordings. Not very famous, but it always feels like I'm listening 10 meters away in the same room. I just use a cheaper microphone for air recording. I cannot truly capture the sound I hear. The roar, the thickness, the power of Backhouse's piano. Mozart piano sonatas played by Eschenbach are also my favorite. I have his box set on CD, but only one LP, just in poor condition. I like Eschenbacher's playing, pretty calm. I think the Mozart just needs accurate and calm. The beauty emerges naturally, slowly, and lasts. Some pianists inject so much emotion. Mozart, he was an Austrian living in 300 years ago. Should not be like that. I love this one so much. This LP of genius cellist Dupré Beethoven's cello sonatas, that full weighted cello sound, cannot be matched by CD. I hope to find the original used LP of her playing Elgar cello concerto with Sir Babiroli. Very hard to find. And I also don't want a new pressings. About some new released LPs, even it's 180 grams more thicker, but the sound is like CD. I just buy CD, that's okay. There is a German movie, The Captain, shooting black and white on airy digital cameras with Leica cinema lenses. Though low budget, the image quality is fantastic. I usually compare it to the older film, The Schindler's List, shoot on Kodak XX film. I also bought the soundtrack CD in 20, maybe 30 years ago. Isaac Pullman on violin. It's a very rare AAD disc. That's 2A, means analog recording, analog mixing, and a digital production. It's full of analog feel. Comparing the visuals, both are very beautiful images. Analog doesn't reach the digital's resolution or cleanness, not as sharp as the digital, but the midtones like vinyl's mid-range are more prominent. I have shown screenshot to my friends, digital film. Someone just says film looks more natural. What do you think? Air has texture. It's not perfectly clean. Film and vinyl simulate this texture air. In fact, even in the digital age, people haven't completely abandoned analog experience of sound and images. People are chasing the analog module, even when they record into a hard drive. After 40 years of cold digital sound, vinyl didn't just survive, it come back to life. For me, the analog is where the heart is. Here are 12 reasons why vinyl sounds better, at least from a Japanese perspective. We are living in a world that's always in a rush. We skip tracks, we watch video at 2 times speed. But vinyl, it forces us to slow down. It makes you put the phone away, forgot the clock. Just gently drop the needle. You hear that soft crackle, and then the music starts to flow. There is a ritual to it, something warm and irreplaceable. You might think you just collecting the records, but you are actually bottling up time. Something you can touch, hear, and hold on to. I believe humanity moves in spirals. We revisit the past, but from a higher perspective. Now that vinyl made its comeback, I hope film photography follows suit. As for me, I never really left the analog.